Thank you for hiring our firm, the Best Management Practice Conservation Corporation, BMPCC, to develop a management plan for your 6,900-acre watershed that surrounds the town and makes up the Acme Water Company, AWC. Our watershed management plan is designed to improve the quality of life for its citizens by making the water safer to drink. The plan will employ sound principles of ecosystem management. Our recommendations will help minimize the cost of providing high-quality water, and we will educate the public about conserving water in order to reverse current downward trends in water quality. The goals of improvement will benefit both the environment and the ecosystem services this watershed provides. Emily?
We at the BMPCC understand that the 160-acre proposed subdivision needs prudent planning. The greatest threats to drinking water quality are disconnects and stormwater runoff. To prevent this, soil maps will be used to predict the least vulnerable areas prior to development. Soil maps are the primary indicators of the limitations and uses of a site, while stormwater runoff maps provide critical information for where some of this development should take place. Given the runoff potential of the site and its close proximity to Reservoir 5, this area should be planned cautiously. For example, the least suitable soil for stormwater basins in the subdivision are Scarborough muck and Putatuck soils. It is our recommendation that those areas not be used as basins. During the proposed development, we recommend low-impact development, or LID, as an approach to managing stormwater runoff. This includes the use of materials such as porous concrete, grass-lined swales, curb knockouts, and infiltration trenches and galleries. Each allow runoff to leave impervious surfaces and come into contact with plants, such as those in an infiltration trench or grass-lined swale. Since according to soil scientist Sean Hayden, the best way to scrub pollutants from runoff is to get it in contact with the roots and soil. In the subdivision, this will mean placing infiltration trenches, underground galleries, and large-scale rain gardens in the most suitable soil, Merrimack. Since development with more than 25% impervious surfaces lead to degraded water quality, it is our goal that no more than 20% of new development be made of impervious surfaces. No new roads will be built alongside the reservoirs, so the runoff will not degrade the water quality. Any new roads that are built will utilize grass-lined swales, so the pollutants can be filtered out of the runoff. Jordan?
Although it's important for larger companies and businesses to improve water quality, the most change will be seen in the residential community. Homeowners within the Acme watershed must have better water management practices in order to improve water quality. Water management is crucial in residential areas due to the possibility of runoff entering the reservoirs. There are many practices that can be used by homeowners to improve water quality on their own property. All of these practices are done mainly to decrease the amount of runoff being discharged from people's properties. Homeowners should take every possible measure to prevent runoff so that it doesn't pollute the AWC watershed. This can be done using green roofs, rain gardens, dry grass roads, and pervious pavers. Green roofs are roofs that have growing plants and grass on them. The plants help absorb much of the rainwater and therefore help to prevent runoff from rooftops. Small adjustments to one's property, such as converting one's regular garden into a rain garden, can help a great deal. Unlike traditional gardens, a rain garden is built in a small depression, gathering water and confining it so that runoff never reaches outside the boundaries of someone's property. Dry grass roads help to eliminate hard surfaces, such as driveways, that increase the amount of runoff. For the same purposes, pervious pavers consist of a pattern of bricks instead of hard, flat concrete. The cracks between the bricks allow water to easily seep through. Another runoff prevention measure would be to emphasize regular septic tank management. Phosphorus-enriched water from one septic tank often leaches out, causing eutrophication. Eutrophication can lead to algae buildup in lakes and rivers, destroying ecosystems. Even encouragement of healthy lawns over the American Dream lawn will make a big difference in water use, nutrient input, and chemical pollution. Rachel?
Charles E. Kellogg once said, essentially all life depends upon the soil. There can be no life without soil and no soil without life. They have evolved together. To reverse and protect water quality in Acmeville, the following BMP techniques should be implemented. The primary soil concern in Acmeville is that the 260 acres of agriculturally used land is dispersed near the north and south sides of the town. Major improvements will be made next to reservoirs 1, 4, and 5. We recommend organic agricultural practices wherever practical to reduce the use of pesticides. Eutrophication will be our primary focus, and we will test waters to see if the reduction of fertilizers in fact decreases the nutrient load in reservoirs. More than anywhere else, it is imperative to practice sound land use in the proposed subdivision. The wet soil survey shows the Ninigret and Tisbury soils to the south, and on either side, Scarborough and Pudatek soils have been identified and are considered wetland soils. The AWC needs to be especially aware of Reservoir 5, just off the southeast corner of the proposed subdivision. Runoff from the lawns of homeowners could pose a great threat for the biological life in that area and should be monitored. One effective agricultural practice is that of a 100-foot riparian buffer zone, or a vegetated area barrier that filters out chemicals in the soil from directly entering Acmeville's waterways. Careful consideration should be taken concerning Reservoir 2, which has a steepness of 200 feet from the east and 150 feet from the north and south, as shown by the contour map. These factors may result in the loss of nutrients from the land. Research shows that LID approaches to pollution management are essential to protect soils and the watershed. Ryan?
The management of the 5,123 acres of forest is imperative to protecting and improving water quality within the watershed. Forests provide a number of ecosystem services, including clean air and habitat, but the most important resource that forests provide is clean water. Root filtration, protection from erosion, and shelter are just a few of the ways that forests help to improve water quality. As a result, it is the way that forests are used that determines the supply of our fresh water. While development is inevitable, it is necessary to take steps to lessen the impact that it has on the environment. We recommend the implementation of a series of BMPs that will help to accomplish this. Development will be prohibited within 100 feet of any stream, river, or lake. These riparian areas, made up of dense vegetative cover, will help to filter runoff and prevent pollutants from reaching the water. This is especially important on steep slopes and in areas where runoff potential is high. These trees will also provide another service for the water they oversee: temperature management. Oxygen is less soluble at higher temperatures, and thus, in order to maintain healthy dissolved oxygen levels, the water must be kept cool for species like trout and mayflies. Approved silvicultural prescriptions must be used in all forest harvests. Clear cuts will be prohibited within the watershed as they encourage erosion. When tree harvesting is necessary, primarily single tree selection and shelter wood will be used, which limit tree removal. On steep slopes and in close proximity to water bodies, only forest preserve practices will be permitted. In areas such as the proposed residential development, approved patch cutting or group selection will be allowed. The region to the northwest of the development will be closed to harvesting due to steep slopes. In all streamside management zones, where stream crossings are necessary, skid roads and bridges will be mandated. Priority areas for protection will be designated, a plan of action will be made, and the development will be targeted to the most appropriate areas. The plan will be adjusted through the principle of adaptive management. Beckett? In order for these recommendations for the watershed to have an effect, it is important to educate and motivate the public to conserve water and reduce their daily usage. In Acmeville, there are 17,869 residential accounts, which each use about 296 gallons of water per day. This means that a total of 5.3 million gallons of water is consumed every day in Acmeville. At the moment, the pricing for water in Acmeville is questionable. Each account is charged $4 for every 1,000 gallons of water used. And once an account uses over 300,000 gallons of water, the price significantly drops. This seems almost as though the AWC is encouraging overconsumption of water. The best way to convince families to keep tabs on their taps would be to make the cost of water reflect their usage. While we understand that the watershed is a business, we believe that the interests of the environment and the community are much more important. Another possible way to promote the idea of conserving water in the watershed would be to provide tax breaks to families who uphold these ideals. Working with legislators on this would be instrumental in this step. These restrictions for new development could also be implemented so that any new development would require the owners to follow LID standards. We also must focus on educating the public about the importance of conserving water. The best way to go about this would be to provide workshops for the public, in which they would be taught how to best go about implementing water barrels, rain barrels, rain gardens, sound lawn care practices, and low-flow shower heads and toilets. In these times of economic trouble, knowledge is the most effective tool we can use to keep our water clean. Emily?
Our consulting firm believes that it is important to create a sustainable environment in Acmeville. By implementing the suggestions you have heard today, it is possible to reverse the downward trend in water quality. Through the use of LID, the implementation of BMPs, and by educating the public, the AWC can continue to provide clean and affordable water for years to come. Thank you. May we take your questions?